Hello everyone, Uncle Al here. This time I would like to talk about memory. You will notice I'm not wearing a shirt. That's because I believe modesty is a false value. For most of my career, I interviewed people. I started doing hospital admissions in 1977. During the intake interview, I would be asking for the patient's personal, private, and confidential information. In the early 80s, I would get home and the patient's data would still be rattling around my head, so I worried about never forgetting things and going into memory overload. Contrast that to 1988 when I started working at County Mental Health. I would take a phone message for the doctor, but by the time I walked to the doctor's door, I had to struggle to remember what the phone call was all about. Later in my career, case numbers became vitally important. I could remember only 3 digits of case or social security numbers. Several years ago, I started playing cards with the boys every week. We play spades and hearts for points, never for money. I could play hearts fairly well because I cut my eye teeth learning the game. However, with poor memory, I struggled to master spades. After a trick was played, I had a hard time remembering which card I had played, much less what else had been played or what I held at the beginning of the hand. I started making my own trail mix to snack on at work. Well-defined trail mix is a combination of nuts, dried fruit, and candy bits. At first, I put in raisins for the dried fruit. Then I switched to cherries because I liked them better. One day at the store while looking for cherries, dried blueberries caught my eye. I started putting blueberries in my trail mix for the variety. A few months later at work, I noticed it was easier for me to remember Social Security and case numbers. Then, just before I retired last March, I remember glancing at a Social Security number and it being seared into my memory like earlier in my life. With better memory, I'm able to mentally review card games the next day and analyze how to play better. When my memory started coming back, a poem came to me. The first poem was called Tower of Power, and the words just came into my head as I was getting ready to go to pizza night at a friend's house. I am the White Tower. I am the center of power. I was built to house kings and their many things. I was already old when men pulled cold steel hard from the scabbard. You may have heard stories, tales, and allegories of violence and silence, of threats and secrets. Through it all, I've stood still. There has been the clash of arms, the sounding of alarms. I know the smell of gunpowder, each time getting louder, yet standing prouder. Over the years, I've heard the cheers and the jeers of loyalty and adversity for my royalty. Some men are such fools, they tried to steal the crown jewels. I've heard them moan, yell, curse, and wail in their cell while I served as their jail. Yes, cry, for I am the center of power. I am the White Tower. For me personally, my tower of power is my skills and knowledge. And one thing that greatly helps that is having a good memory. Now, what exactly was in my trail mix that helped me improve my memory? The first thing was walnuts. And then I also had blueberries and semi-sweet chocolate chips. The exact recommended daily dose is 3 walnut halves, 12 dried blueberries, and 18 semi-sweet chocolate chips, giving you a daily portion that looks something like this, about this amount. The bonus for me was that after my memory got better, I realized that overall my brain was working better. Both of my eyes have always worked. And I realized this in grade school when I would cover one eye and look at a page in a book. For one eye, the page looked more blue, and with the other eye, the page looked more yellow. However, my vision has always been two-dimensional rather than three-dimensional. Thus, I have been depth perception challenged. So after my memory got better, then suddenly I realized that I was seeing in 3D just naturally. I didn't have to concentrate in order to make it happen. Also, my brain seemed to be able to better connect diverse data points. I've been going to San Francisco for several years, and I always stayed fairly close to what I knew because I had this fear of getting off track and getting lost. However, on this last trip in September, we went to Coit Tower, and from the tower I could see the Bay Bridge and Chinatown, Sutro Tower, the Golden Gate Bridge, and the various parts of town. And it was like before, I had tunnel vision, and each section of town that I was looking at, that was what I was looking at individually. However, on this last visit, when I looked at something, I would see it and also mentally coordinate it to the other sections of town, areas of San Francisco. And thus I have a more comprehensive map of a particular location's relationship to other locations in the city. Anyway, walnuts, blueberries, and semi-sweet chocolate chips have worked to improve my memory. I'm sharing this information hoping that it will help you improve your brain function also. Now, it may take 3 or 4 months to get results, so you'll need to do this for like 6 months. And because individual brain chemistry varies, your results may be different than mine. I don't have any initials after my name, so I'm not a doctor recommending this. That's my thoughts on memory this week. See you in another video. Bye.